One of my best friends, when he was in high school, his girlfriend cheated on him constantly. And he addressed her directly. And when he accused her of cheating, which she absolutely was, I mean, where people came out and told us outright that they were the ones cheating with her. When he confronted her, she flipped it and said, he was gaslighting and he kept accusing her because he was the one who was cheating, which he wasn't. Um, and it all came to a head shortly after high school. They were living together, right? Duh. But he actually came home one night, got off work early, came home, caught her in the bed with another dude. Like, dude was at full attention, just in they house, in they bed, in under they sheets, bucket naked. And when he kept his composure and for whatever reason didn't, put the pause on dude, when he got into it with his girlfriend, she still flipped it on him and made it seem like it was his fault that she just fell back on the bed with her legs open, and they made up and he fell in the bed with her as well. Oh, okay. I was appalled, to say the least, that you got sloppy seconds with your own girlfriend and then they stayed together. I said, listen, my boy, you probably shouldn't make decisions on your own life because you are your own worst enemy. Hello, Governor. This is Rakai Steed, nupefromdaville, and we are covering Episode 5, Season 6, Doctor Who, The Rebel Flesh. The TARDIS is hit by a solar storm, and they end up going to a monastery on Earth in the 22nd century. And it happens that this monastery, this castle, is on an island, and the primary function is to pump acid off of the island. It's been converted into a factory. Because the acid is so deadly, programmable matter called the flesh, and it creates doppelgangers for the people who work in this factory. Hence the name ganger. They call all the flesh, they call them gangers. But however, a solar storm hits, and the same solar storm that diverted the TARDIS there, it hits, and the gangers become independent. They're no longer controlled, like we've seen in the movie Avatar and other things like that, where they control the gangers that are in their image. The gangers get their memories, they get a lot of their actions because they're controlled, very similar to the movie Avatar. But when the solar storm hits, they become independent. The problem is the gangers now all team together and they said, listen, we're alive and we deserve to be alive, and we not following nobody else's rule anymore. And the Doctor and Amy and Rory are in the middle of the actual humans versus the gangers. The main foreman, Miranda Cleaves, she refuses to shut down the factory until she gets orders from the mainland. The Doctor, he suggests that because the gangers have become sentient and they want to live instead of be destroyed by the actual humans, he can just take them in the TARDIS and get them to relocate them to somewhere where they can live. The problem is the TARDIS falls into an acid pool and it falls somewhere where he can't get to it, so that's out of the question. The gangers decide if the humans are coming for them, nah, then we gonna come for them first. One of the problems in this episode is being able to determine who is a ganger and who is a human. And they use very good prosthetics instead of like CG special effects to make the actors who are playing not only themselves but the gangers to create the look of the gangers. One of the gangers, she's a little off the rails. Her name is Jennifer, and she determines that she's going to start hunting the humans and taking them out. The craziest thing about this is the humans, they wore these suits to protect them from the acid, but the gangers, because they have the memories of the actual humans, the first thing they do is decide to get in those suits. So at first you kind of think that the gangers are the humans, but no, they decided to protect themselves from the acid because that's how they die. And the gangers remember how they die every time. They're going to protect themselves from the acid, so the humans don't have on the suits, they can't protect themselves from the acid. And the doctor, he had put his hand in the programmable matter and almost got in touch with it. And because he's different, he's different. He's the doctor. At the end of the episode, we see a ganger version of the doctor. Again, you know how I love my quotes. This particular quote is strange. It comes from Michael Strahan, famous professional NFL football player and also now TV personality. And he says, "We are our own worst enemy. You doubt yourself more than anybody else ever will. And if you can get past that, you can be successful." As I told in my opening story, my best friend, a lot of times he had an issue with doubting himself. And I don't know if that particular fear was rooted in doubting if he would, ever get another girlfriend. And sometimes people think, how that's bananas. That is asinine because, you're a nice looking person or what have you. But that doesn't have anything to do, your outside looks don't have anything to do with how you feel about yourself on the inside. And that's why some of the most beautiful people in the world have the lowest self-esteem. I can't tell that story. I can't put that out there because that's... Anyway, that's not my story to tell, so I can't tell that story. I'll tell it like this. When I was in college, it was homecoming weekend, and a celebrity showed up on our campus because he knew one of our basketball players on the team. He had grown up around him or something like that. They were cool. And being that we knew who this celebrity was and who his wife was at the time, who was one of the most beautiful women in the world, like not in our estimation, like People magazine estimation. He's like, "Why are you on campus to hang out with us? It's homecoming weekend. I get it. And you hollering at your mans, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Y'all cool, y'all kick it, whatever. But you have her at home. Like, why are you here getting all this attention from schoolgirls, pretty much, little college girls?" And what he said was the most crazy thing I've ever heard, but in the years to come, I found it to be true. He said that he needed to get away from her because her self-esteem was so low that she constantly like nagged him and asked him, was she beautiful? Now, even though she is literally one of the most beautiful people in the world, she did not believe that about herself. And he said at this point, he just couldn't take it anymore. And even in getting together, you thought, oh, okay, your self esteem is a little below, well, I'm gonna help boost you up and just help you to realize how gorgeous you absolutely are. But a lot of times when the outside, put it like this, if you have a Ferrari, super expensive, super beautiful car, but it has the engine of an old beater from the junkyard, is it still considered a nice car? Sometimes the only thing you can do with that car is stand next to it, take pictures with it, because that's all it does is look nice. There are a lot of people that are nice looking that have the worst attitudes, that have the lowest self-esteems, and it makes them ugly people. Now, a person with low self-esteem is a thing that definitely requires therapy, and you know that I'm a huge advocate of mental health. But when you have an ugly attitude and you're just a nasty person, I don't care if you're a 10 on the outside. If you're less than 5 on the inside, that number trumps what you look like on the outside. And that's why you see some people who are not the most aesthetically pleasing, but maybe they have great personalities and they're charming and they're witty and they're clever. They wield power. They're confident in who they are. And you have a problem. You're like, how did he get her? Or why is she with him? Or vice versa. A lot of that is more about the real person on the inside as opposed to the person on the outside. And sometimes it is a very hard thing for us to get past. Your higher self versus your lower self. We give passes to the beautiful. Instagram is damn near made up of beautiful people. And sometimes it's kind of crazy because we love these beautiful people, and you will like their picture and be people who don't have a lick of personality, and really they ain't about nothing. But they're very pleasing to look at. And so we have the wrong mentality, and we will like the hell out of their picture, and they'll have, 100,000 likes and, 1,000,000 subscribers. And we base it all on how they look and not the character of their person. We are a very superficial society. And yes, while I am sitting here saying this, sometimes I too fall into that. Now, as I've gotten more vintage, I'm not as overly concerned about my looks as I used to be, where that was I can't go out until everything is perfection. I remember the days where I cut my hair, fixed my hairline, fixed my beard, my mustache and that stuff daily, every day. Everything had to be on perfection. Outfit had to be top notch. If it's almost like I wasn't a celebrity, never been a celebrity, but to go outside, if I'm outside, listen, I got to be on point. And I feel that even though I will never get back to being that person who's caught up in the superficial, sometimes being older, you know, and I feel that I need to get back to being like that, especially now that I'm presenting myself to the world on social media. But I really am now more concerned with my higher self, trying to make sure that I fulfill my purpose in this world. And part of it actually is being on here. I'll leave you with this two quotes. Friedrich Nietzsche wrote that man is his own worst enemy because he has no other choice. And another thought by a Siddhartha Gautama, who we refer to as the Buddha, said that your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts. Sometimes your own mind sabotages you. Take care of yourself, because if you don't, you can't take care of anyone else. Take care of your mental health. Work on your own fitness, because as fit as you are, that's how fit your mind can be as well. Your lifestyle choices, your diet, your physical activity, therapy. Take care of you so you can take care of others. This is Rakai Steve, Nupefromdaville. Make sure that you like, comment, share this as much as possible. I thank each and every one of you. As I hit 1,000 subscribers, it's hard to imagine even having a dozen people listen to what I got to say. But I thank you for that. If you have not hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. Watch some of these past videos. Every now and then I might say something kind of clever, something that might have some value to your life. As always, it's got to be about this. But you cannot forget this.